Welcome back to the Gen
Hey!
Z Speaks podcast. We have a very special guest today. Ivan, introduce yourself.
Hey, how's it going, everyone? I'm Ivan Salas, a comic here in LA, and very much not a Gen Z. I don't know if I should get the fuck out of here or not.
You kind of look Gen X.
No,
Ah,
dang.
you son of a bitch.
Gen
Sorry,
X.
man. It's our
Man.
first time meeting too.
You look like you own a warehouse and you smell like it too.
Oh, man. Thank
Yeah.
you. You got
right
me
on.
there.
right on.
Um,
Gen X was what age again? Like 40?
40s.
About 40s, yeah,
Okay.
something like that. I feel like they're the most jaded generation.
Why do you say that?
I don't know. I feel like their parents were baby boomers and hippies, and Gen X was like, "I'm not like you, Dad," and they just wore like leather jackets and punched
Interesting.
nerds.
I've never heard that one before.
Jaded.
Yeah.
Jaded. Gen X is jaded. There was a meme that I saw the other day where like the greatest generation was based. Baby boomers are cringe.
Mm.
Gen X is based. Millennials are cringe. Gen Z is based. That's
We're
kinda-
based.
Really?
You're
I
based.
What
thought
do
we
you-
were the heroes
Of what story?
of every story, man.
Of our mental story.
We're the ones that are gonna save America. We're the ones making America great again.
Well, hurry the fuck up. The election's in 4 months and you ain't doing shit. You got to go save Joe. I don't know how.
Gen Z speaks. This is what we're doing, man.
Yeah, just record.
Saving America one step at a time.
Yeah.
I feel like you guys should take over Joe Biden's TikTok account and really.
Does he
drum
have
up
one?
Does he have a TikTok?
I think he does. He recently
might,
launched it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which is funny because it's also trying to ban TikTok.
Right.
So yeah.
Because Trump is on TikTok, so he has to be on TikTok. As
Trump's
well.
on TikTok.
Yeah. He has
What does he
3
post
TikTok.
on TikTok?
Bro, have you seen his TikTok?
Yeah, it's just thirst traps mostly. A lot of thirst traps showing off.
I had the best orange hair.
No chance.
No, one of the videos of this is a true thing on Donald Trump's TikTok is him facing off with Logan Paul before they go on their podcast. It's like a face off.
Really?
For like
What?
10 seconds. Yeah, it's hilarious.
Wait, Donald Trump was on Logan Paul's
Podcast? Yeah.
I did not even know that.
Yeah, Donald Trump.
When was that?
Like
while
3
back?
weeks ago.
Oh,
Yeah.
probably not gonna watch that.
Donald, can I say something about Donald Trump's like public outreach policy? It is genius because he's going on all these like platforms that
Yeah.
have millions of listeners, and no mainstream politician would ever go on them because they're not like CNN or Fox News.
Right.
Just because you can't see him on cable, and he's reaching like younger voters.
Bernie used to do that, and Pete Buttigieg did too at the beginning of his campaign back in like 2019, just to like elevate his profile because no one knew him. But yeah, it feels like Trump's kind of taking from that playbook, and Biden's just too tired to go to these.
Vivek did it.
Vivek, yeah, that's how he got
Vivek
big.
Ramaswamy.
Vivek Ramaswamy.
What a character that.
What do you think
guy
about
is.
Vivek Ramaswamy?
Yeah, what do you think about him?
I didn't know all that much about him. He just felt like he was trying to. I don't know. He just felt like someone who was trying. He was a hype beast. He was a hype
He was a
beast
hype
politician,
beast.
just trying to get hype up and like, yeah, I'm a lot like Trump, but guess what? I'm not white. It makes me different, and like I'm
Mm.
young and like Silicon Valley or whatever. I don't know. I was not very impressed.
Yeah, he was
by
a
the guy.
pharmaceutical guy.
Oh,
Yeah,
pharmaceutical?
yeah,
I thought he was
yeah.
a tech bro.
Well, yeah, he has like businesses in tech, but I think he's a biotech investor, and he had a pharmaceutical company that he sold for millions of dollars. Vivek, something about Vivek though is he never talked about his race as much, which was interesting.
Well, it makes sense if
Yeah.
you're trying to get
If you're trying to-
Republican
yeah, you're like-
votes.
You know what? I've actually seen quite a bit about his race and his
That he
his
talks about?
religion. Yeah, I think
Interesting.
his strategy. Well, I've seen. I'm not gonna say a lot. I'm gonna say like 5 speeches that he's talked about his religion or something like that. And I think because he is Hindu, his point was, let me combat this first before somebody else throws me under the bus that I'm not a Christian, and let me explain my specific points of view.
Yeah.
Because he basically said kind of what Jenish says, that there's like this overarching God, and like it is the singular God. He basically says that this is, even though I'm Hindu, this is my singular God, and so we're not all that different. That was his approach, which I'm like, okay, at least you said it, right? At least you owned it.
But does he agree that Jesus was white? That's very important to
Wait,
the Republican
yeah.
base. Yeah.
Probably not.
Well, that's why he didn't get anywhere.
What the thing is though, we know Vivek Ramaswamy. 10 months ago, nobody knew who
Yeah, of
Vivek
course.
That is
Ramaswamy
fair.
was. So he was very successful in doing that. He's never run for office before.
Yeah.
He went for the top position, and now mainstream Republicans know who he is. And Trump might pick him as his VP. Probably not, but we'll see.
Probably not VP, but he'll probably get
Some position.
It truly does feel like he imitated a lot of the Buttigieg playbook, right? Just kind
Vivek,
of
yeah.
going out there, talking to every single podcast platform, just getting his ideas out there, his face out there. And now Pete Buttigieg is Secretary of Transportation.
Transportation,
So
right.
Vivek will probably get something like that.
Yeah.
I would
Yeah,
bet.
that's pretty good.
Something like that.
I
Do
mean,
you,
I don't mind the guy. I think he's better
Vivek, he has some ridiculous policy suggestions. Like
Yeah, well-
restricting the voting age to like 21 or something was one of the other platforms, I believe.
I did not know that. Really?
Something like that,
He
yeah.
said that?
Something like that, something along those lines. This might be disinformation right
No,
now.
I
but
want you to give me accurate
the accurate
information.
fact check
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Look it up.
Where's Quant?
I
Quant's
know.
also our
Quant's
fact
our
checker,
fact
man.
check.
He's out. I want to ask you though. Do you guys think Trump's gonna win? You saw the
Yes.
debate, right? You think he's gonna win?
I believe he's going to win. Yes. Yes.
I know he's going to win.
It's, I mean, people mostly had one concern with Biden,
Right.
and he proved them entirely correct, right? Even though I think Biden's first term will go in history as one of the best terms ever.
You
by a
think
president.
so?
Yeah, on domestic policy, foreign policy is a bit sketchier, but the infrastructure bill he passed, he did a lot for climate change, the rescue package with COVID.
Build
He
back
actually
better.
rolled out COVID effectively. Not COVID. He did not roll out COVID.
That was China.
Yeah, that was China, of course.
Yeah.
No, the COVID vaccine. I just think history will be very kind to Joe Biden, but right now, dude,
No one's.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It just spooks me a little bit. Really
A
spooks
lot of
me.
people are surprised that Joe Biden was like looked confused. He stuttered his words, but if you watch his speeches, he's been doing that the entire
Yeah.
term. So like I don't know why people are so shocked because he was just being himself. Like I did not see any major difference in him.
After I watched the debate, I watched 2019 versus 2024, and oh my god, that honestly made me really sad. Like not only like his stuttering significantly obviously he's probably dementia, like early on signs of dementia, but whatever. I think what made me feel weird was his face. His
Yeah,
face
his
looks
face.
entirely different.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He looks like a different person.
Yeah.
He looks like a Madame Tussauds wax museum of his former self.
I couldn't think of a better description.
Yeah. It's hard because I love the guy, right?
You
I
love Joe Biden?
I love,
Really?
I am unapologetic in my love of Joe Biden.
What?
Despite a lot of foreign policies. Hey,
Right.
I'm Gen X, or
No.
you guys call me old as fuck. So now I feel like I'm
You
one of-
love Joe Biden.
I kind of love Joe Biden.
What makes
yeah.
you love Joe Biden?
Well, a lot of the policy things I said, I think he's, for the most part, truly a very decent guy, or as decent as a politician gets. And
It's a low bar though for a politician.
it is a
Yeah,
low bar,
decency,
but he's
right.
only competing against other politicians, right?
Right.
I don't know. I think he's a good dude who has tried his best, and his best has been pretty good. But he's not. He's not in game shape, right? He's not ready for big time anymore. I think he's got to. I don't know.
His
I feel-
family's telling him to stay in the race.
Yeah.
They just met at Camp David. And Hunter Biden specifically told his dad to stay in the race. But
Well, if Hunter says
if
it.
Hunter says it. Oh my God.
Yeah. I did vote for Joe. At the time it just seemed like the right decision. It just did, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know if I regret it, but I definitely feel like there wasn't great decisions to make. There was like not good options, right? So it's
Yeah,
like
exactly.
it's like which evil do you want to choose? But I will say, like in the past, I do like what he's done for the country.
Mhm.
In the past, it just at the moment I'm not very pleased with him at all.
I don't like Joe Biden. Like
Even-
he's
Even his prehistoric.
what has he done? He's sponsored the crime bill. He was voted for the war in Iraq, right? Like he's been a very standard politician. He's not a revolutionary. He's not somebody who can institute change. I think for the time that he was elected 2020, that was probably the best time he could have ever been a president. Like any other time, he doesn't work.
So I slightly disagree with you there. Although I will admit that back in the 90s, the whole like Anita Hill situation or whatever, he managed that horribly.
What is that?
Clarence Thomas, right?
Yeah. So when I forgot exactly how it went down, but when Clarence Thomas was being
nominated
for the Supreme
the
Court,
hearings were happening,
Joe Biden was the head of the Judiciary
Committee,
and Anita Hill had made some accusations that Clarence Thomas had sexually harassed her. And Joe Biden, the way he ran that investigation and those interviews were like deeply upsetting and made her
they were
like
combative, right?
Like combative, like fighting her, which is weird because Clarence Thomas was a Republican nominee. But I think back in the day, these things tended to be like the consensus was you just approve the Supreme Court nominees from the presidents.
It wasn't like it is now, like with the Brett
Exactly.
Kavanaugh situation, like how
exactly.
contentious it got. People just breezed through the nomination process.
Exactly right. Exactly right. But sorry, the change agent thing. That's what I want to talk about. So I feel like change needs two different type of people. You need the revolutionaries and you need the people that are like inside of the system making the changes, right? So Bernie Sanders has been trying to run for president forever, and I like Bernie Sanders a great deal. But that sort of approach that he has, very aggressive, A, it's very hard to get actually elected in office that way. And B, once you're in office, it's very hard to get stuff done. You need people like Bernie to move the party and the country in one direction. And then you need people like Joe Biden to actually get into government and make changes that are closer to that. So I think Bernie and Joe Biden kind of are the yin and yang of making change, making, in my views, because I'm a progressive, positive change. You have the same on the right. Like, Trump is his own weird thing, but remember that Trump was not originally an extremist. He just ran for office, right? And then he joined the extremists, and now those extremists who were unelectable got their ideas instituted in the government because Trump was able to do it inside the system, even though Trump was an outsider. But
I think Trump was kind of extreme in his views, though, because he started his speech right with calling Mexicans rapists and whatnot, and then so that's a pretty extreme position. Like, you know what I'm saying? I think, but I hear you though. I think you're right in that a country to govern in a democratic way needs people that think in a very outside perspective that doesn't fit in the mainstream. And obviously that perspective isn't going to be embraced immediately. So it takes time. And then you need these standard bearing politicians to bring those ideas in and find a compromise. But I think the Democratic Party just rigged it against Bernie since 2016. Like they kind of did. They did him dirty, man. And they blamed him. Hillary Clinton still blames Bernie Sanders for Donald Trump being elected. She's like, had he not been in this contentious primary with me, I would have won. Like that's one of the reasons why she says she lost the election was because Bernie endorsed her too late, but he endorsed her right on time at the Democratic primary, which like I don't know.
Yeah, it's at the end of the day, it's Hillary's fault. She was a candidate, right? And that's that. What is true is it was such a fine margin that there were a million different factors that all played small roles that ultimately led to her losing. But the biggest one is that she was a candidate that people didn't like. Like that's the number one reason.
Yeah.
Anyways, welcome to this comedy podcast.
Yeah, welcome to this comedy.